In a world where most people watch movies and then forget about them, these brave heroes join forces to watch them again and then talk about them. Join them in their epic journey as they go back in time, a decade and beyond, to revisit and break down films from a vast array of genres. Do these movies hold up over time? Are they classics? Find out on Retro Movie Roundtable. Starring your hosts, Brian Fry, Chad Robinson, Dustin Melbardis, Lizzy Haynes, and Russell Guest. Coming now to headphones in your ears.
Welcome, all you lords, ladies, and knights of the Retro Movie Roundtable, where we watch movies and then talk about them. I'm your host, Dustin Melbardis. Joining me today is my good friend and co-host, Lizzy Haynes. Lizzy, say hello.
Hello. Happy to be here.
It's a cool night because we've got a brand new guest coming to you from Walhalla, north by God It's Cold, Dakota. For the first time is your special guest, Rebecca Davis. Say hello.
Hello.
Rebecca, welcome to the show. What are you up to up there?
Well, I'm the chamber director here, and then I also write for the Borderland Press, and I work for a radio station. Most people don't know that I actually work for the station.
Secret job.
Secret job, yeah.
We're happy to have you on the show. First, a couple of warm-up questions. Rebecca, today's movie has some iconic dance scenes. What movie has your favorite dance scene?
Probably Step Up, and that whole Step Up series.
Oh, nice.
The Step Up series, right.
Yes.
Which was early 2000s or late 2000s?
I think it was early 2000s, and then they've kind of carried through the 2000s.
Did they take it to the streets? Lizzy's laughing. I think because that was the subtitle of one of them, I think. Or am I thinking of a different? Am I way off here, Lizzy?
No, you're not. You're they definitely took it to the street.
Step Up series.
How you said it.
I don't think Channing Tatum was in that one though. I think that was straight to DVD. Air quotes, because I think at this point DVDs were done, but
right,
it was not a theatrical release.
You got kind of the Air Bud 5 treatment. Yeah, straight to home theater.
Right.
Yeah, Step Up is fun. I actually have an answer kind of similar to that. Lizzy, your movie, your dance movie, what is it?
Honestly, mine's somewhat similar as well. Mine's Center Stage. It was also kind of made around the same time. It was a movie about ballet, and one particular dancer was kind of caught between these two worlds of modern dance versus ballet. And there's this huge iconic dance scene that shares the same song as the iconic Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, lovely.
Scene. I had thought really hard about choosing a Kenny Ortega dance scene just to homage to our episode tonight. But to me, the Center Stage, it's just so fantastic. I love it.
I had totally forgotten about Center Stage.
That's a good one.
Do you remember our actors in that one? I feel like Center Stage is bringing to mind, I think I'm off here, Julia Stiles?
No, that's Save the Last Dance. But that's also in the same vein. They're all kind of somewhat related. So Zoe Saldana is probably the most famous name from Center Stage. And then there's that one girl with the very, she's very tall and lean. She's jet black hair, and she's kind of always the mean girl. I don't know her name, but she's always kind of the mean girl in movies like that. And
it's cool to remember that Zoe Saldana had quite a career that was outside of the Marvel universe.
She did. I mean, no one will forget Crossroads. I mean, that's a really deep cut with Zoe Saldana and one Britney Spears.
Yeah.
I mean, the real ones remember how far back she goes.
I think we're all real ones because we're all picking these early 2000s movies, dance-centric movies. It was hard for me not to pick the dancing at Jackrabbit Slim's in Pulp Fiction when it was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished them well. I love that soundtrack and I love that movie. I didn't pick it though. Mine is in the same vein from You Got Served. You guys know You Got Served?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. Featuring Omarion.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that if I remember right, I didn't look it up. The big competition at the end is is they're trying to see whose dance crew gets to be featured in a Lil Kim music video.
Nice.
And so stakes
Perfect.
are through the roof.
Yes. Well, naturally. Yes.
And the white kids from the suburbs show up, and it turns out they've been stealing all the dance moves. So it's high drama with You Got Served, which is
so good. What was the band that? There's the band. What was the name of it?
I know what this. It's B2K. BTK?
B2K, that's it. Yes, like baby, turn around.
It's not BTK, which is a famous serial killer.
Yes, not to be confused with BTK. Really
oh, yeah. See you later, Rails.
amazing. Yeah, Mari was great.
Yeah.
I will say, if we aren't picking like the millennial like favorites,
sure,
it would have to be probably Footloose.
Oh, that's a great one too. Yes. There's so many. I had a
not
really
the,
hard
not
time.
the remake though.
Mm-hmm.
The remake was trash.
I won't watch it. Won't watch it. What's the last movie that you saw, Rebecca?
I just went and saw Lilo and Stitch in theaters, and I had heard that I would be upset that there were some changes, and everyone on social media had gone crazy saying that one thing had happened. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but I cried the entire time.
It was really
because
good.
the story's so good, or because you got to return to these characters?
Both.
Or both. That's right, both. Lizzy, what's the last movie you saw?
Oh, man. The last movie that I saw, it's not technically, I'm cheating a little bit because I did see Lilo and Stitch with my kids in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, in theaters, Aaron and I saw Sinners. And I'm telling you, I have not had a cinematic experience like that in a long time. That movie was 10s across the board. I literally have no notes. It was sensational. And I almost cannot give anything away because it would just be a disservice to the experiences if you were to watch it. But it is so good. Aaron felt the exact same way. Like, he and I both walked out and talked for about 30 minutes after the movie only about how good it was. And then after, continued to talk for about another hour just about like different plot theories. And it was so good. And I highly recommend anybody that, I think today it's actually available to purchase. That's how much I liked it. I'm keeping track of when I can stream it. And it was just so good.
Chad held it in incredibly high regard too. He told us about it. Is that tomorrow I'm taking the day off. I've got to do dry cleaning. I've got to hit the gym. In between those spaces, it's going to be matinee because I know it's still showing at the Evo in my town because it's been such a big deal. I tell you guys I'm going to see new movies, and then I don't. But this is the one that I feel like I can't miss it. So I'm going to have to go see it.
It was an experience sitting in the theaters too, because the music, just how loud it was. It was the kind of movie that you wanted, like that full blown experience. It was so good. Like, truly, I haven't walked away from a movie in the theaters and felt that amped in like a really long time. So you'll definitely have to tell me what you think.
Cool. For sure. I don't generally watch anything new. This show keeps me watching stuff that's old. And I did watch a movie that was 11 years old. That was Creep from 2014.
Nice.
I had never seen it. I've heard y'all talk about it, but I had never seen it. And that is Mark Duplass. It was something that I enjoyed so much that I immediately bought a season of TV called The Creep Tapes that have just come out recently. Is that he's reprising this character. And so it was something I thought was really, really good. Are you a horror fan, Rebecca?
Absolutely not.
No.
I am scared of my own shadow. When I get up in the middle of the night to go pee, I have to light up the house like a landing strip. You could land a freaking airplane by the lights that I turn on.
Otherwise, your Funko Pops are going to get you.
They might. You don't know. That's why they're all still in their box.
Do not get put on any of Chad's dealer's choices then, because you're going to be in for a scary movie, just like by default when Chad does a dealer's choice.
I cry. Yeah. It's bad. It's so bad.
Well, that is good then. It means that you have spent time exploring all the other genres aside from horror. And I've got my skeleton twins in Lizzy and Chad. So we'll have plenty of opportunity there. Well, we've talked enough before the show and gotten to meet Rebecca a little bit. Lizzy, what are we covering tonight?
We are going to talk 1987's Dirty Dancing.
Starring Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, Jerry Orbach, and Cynthia Rhodes. A budget of $4.5 million, grossed $63.5 million domestically. Maybe one of the biggest multipliers I've seen in a really, really long time, adjusted for inflation and all that stuff. It came 11th in the box office that year. Just ahead of it was The Witches of Eastwick, and just behind it at the number 12 spot was Predator. See Retro Movie Roundtable episode number 81 for us talking about that. The number one movie that year, I've always said it, 1987, the year I was born, that was a year that a comedy was the number one movie in the box office, Three Men and a Baby. Just wild that we're so far from that now with our big, big budget Disney and Marvel flicks. IMDb rating for Dirty Dancing, 7.1. Our Rotten Tomatoes critics tomato meter is 72%, but our audience score is 90%. And we want to talk about that a little bit later. Nominated for some Oscars, for Golden Globes, Best Motion Picture, Best Performance by an Actress, Best Performance by an Actor, nominated for a Grammy, Best Song Written Specifically for a Motion Picture. Where it won was Best Music Original Song in a Film. That was the Oscar for I've Had the Time of My Life. It also won Best Original Song at the Golden Globes as well. A lot of other nominees. It won the Best International Film from the Jupiter Awards. It also has some AFI distinctions. 100 Passions is number 93 on that list. And then it was nominated for the 100 Cheers list. As in, these are things that like we just kind of cheer for. Rebecca, you put this on our plate for tonight. What were what was your history and background with this movie?
So I watched it probably for the first time when I was super little. I was born in 91, so I mean, it wasn't super old.
Lizzy, what was your background with Dirty Dancing?
So I first saw this when I was in high school with my mom. I think I was probably a freshman. And so that would have put me around 13, 14-ish years old. And this was one of my mom's favorite movies. And I'm an 88 baby. So this came out first time she watched it. I must have just been like a little infant in her arms. So she introduced it to me. We watched it together. And I don't even know how to explain the obsession that I felt for this movie, because at that particular point, I had seen rom-coms, but that was like my jam at that particular junction in my life. Because at 13 or 14, it's like your romance bug, like you've caught it. You're looking for all the different opportunities to just feel like you can live vicariously through a character and get swept off your feet. Yeah. And I also was really into show choir. I was a show choir nerd. So just like the dancing and the music and all of it just every single little bit of it completely captivated me. And I've been obsessed ever since. I can't even count how many times I watched this movie. Watching it again, I watched it last night with Aaron. Was fun because I kind of knew I was watching it through like the lens of a critical eye, but that the reality is I've seen this movie so many times I could pretty much quote it. It's a comfort watch at this point for me. I love it.
So I'm kind of like you, Lizzy. I have watched it so many times that, I feel like I could probably replay the entire movie myself. Quality would totally not be the same, but
don't sell yourself so short.
Could quote it line by line, but it's one of those that every time it came on TV, I was glued. Like it didn't matter what was going on. I had to sit there and I had to watch it, and no one was allowed to talk. No one was allowed to be around. Like I was in my zone. I was watching. I've always been, I guess, enamored by Patrick Swayze and just how he moves. And then I guess the innocence of Jennifer Grey. Like she's a different type of beautiful.
I love what both of you are saying is that there's something about this movie. And Lizzy, you said, I can't explain the obsession. I think there's a lot of people that would say that, use the word obsession, or would say, like what Rebecca said in text, that this is one of her favorites. It's not surprising to me to hear that. I've heard it from many. And I don't exactly know why either, but after the ad break, I want to try to solve some of it. I want to try to get to what is it, because I've got some ideas as to why that would be. I watched this as a kid. Probably first time I watched it was 11 or 12. Yes, it was on either TBS, TNT, or USA. Yes, I never saw the first 20 minutes of it. I just flipped to it and watched the rest of it. I probably have half a dozen views under my belt. It is fun. I wouldn't say that at the time when I was a adolescent that I was trying to evaluate the movie for all of its cinematic merits, which like this is fun and like they're having a good time. And there is something I think that there's got to be a difference that when we'll have to talk about it is the difference of seeing this as an adolescent girl and an adolescent boy. So there's got to be a difference. We'll get into that later. But I think this movie is fun. I think it holds up. I understand why people consider it a favorite. And even though my star rating isn't going to go through the roof, it is going to be something where I go, I have to judge it on all of these things. And it just happens to be successful in so many aspects. You mentioned little scenes. I think we've got fun character work. There's a lot of fun stuff here. It does hold up, even though we know that this particular style of like summer getaway isn't the same as it used to be. And this is an 87 movie talking about time from 24 years prior. So this is by definition like in the past, and that's okay. It's even brought up in the movie. We're going to talk more about it after a little ad break. If you have not seen Dirty Dancing, then this is the time for you to pause. Come back to us after you've watched it so you can hear us talk about it. See you on the other side.
Welcome to the All 80s Movies Podcast.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Jason, and this is the podcast where we talk about the blockbusters, the flops, and everything in between from one of the freshest decades for movies, the 1980s. So whether you're a brain, a jock, a valley girl, or a Jedi, we've got some 80s classics for you.
Do these movies stand the test of time? Are we discovering something new? Is there an 80s movie we're finally watching for the first time?
Join us each week as we dive into the cinematic nostalgia that inspired and influenced a generation. From the hits to the cult classics, we'll discuss our earliest memories, favorite scenes, fun facts, and our not-so-favorite movie moments, too.
It's the All 80s Movies Podcast, now available on all major streaming platforms. Please subscribe and happy listening.
And we are back, and this is your final warning. We're about to talk about Dirty Dancing, and Lizzy is about to reveal the entire plot of this movie. So if you haven't watched it, pause us, go watch it, come on back. Lizzy, take it away.
Summer 1963, the Houseman family make their way to Kellerman's, a posh mountain resort for summer ballroom dancing and mingling. Dr. and Mrs. Jake Houseman, Lisa, and Baby are typical wealthy patrons of the hotel, where they learn to dance from the best. Baby, a shy daddy's girl, watches from the background as hotel staff Johnny and Penny hold her gaze. They are electric. They move with so much passion, Baby wonders if she'll ever feel alive the way they do. Baby manages to escape the waspy evening conversation and waltzes and happens upon the staff cabin. Inside, she sees the staff engaging in a type of dancing that she has never before seen. With zero space between the dancers, they are thrusting and moving with a passion that feels forbidden. It's there she finds Johnny and Penny, where she learns that they are childhood best friends who share a love of dancing. Baby forges a friendship with Penny and later learns that she's pregnant with no resources or help from the father. Baby earns the trust of Penny and Johnny and volunteers to dance in Penny's place at a nearby gig. Baby and Johnny must work together as Johnny trains Baby on how to find rhythm, match it to her heartbeat, and ultimately follow it. As they spend time together, Johnny, who typically is felt like a throwaway, is taken aback by Baby's valor, bravery, and the ability to wear her heart on her sleeve. They begin a short-lived affair until her father finds out, and eventually Johnny is fired. Upon the final send-off dinner, Johnny finds Baby, professes his love for her, and invites her to dance. In front of the entire hotel staff and guests alike, Baby finds herself dancing with the man that took her breath away, just like the first time she met him, and feeling alive.
That's a great plot summary. I can always tell you're the ones that you write It is
Yeah.
it's a fun movie, and you touched on a lot of things that I think really matter to this. And I wanted to start with a general question. The general question is, why does this movie have such staying power? But I'm going to present it with some of the things that you kind of talked about. We have this family vacation in the mountains. Lovely, like you said, it was a Boy Scout camp. Just a lovely space. It's a lovely atmosphere and setting. Then we have the thing you mentioned. She's a daddy's girl. We've also got sibling rivalry between her baby and Lisa. We have the opportunity for lack of parental supervision, not just because of the nature of this camp, but also because sneaking around is fun. Sneaking around at dark or with the people you're not supposed to be with from both sides is that the guests are not supposed to go to the staff quarters, and the staff are basically instructed how to interact, which I think is important from Max Kellerman, our big boss, right? So we have the ways that it's supposed to work. Then there's the read between the lines, the way that it does work, the way that they do spend a little bit more time together than they should, and how it generally goes. And that is another fun aspect of this. Breaking the rules. We do have a safety net, which is this is just a vacation, 3 weeks. If things don't go well, summer ends and you go back to the rest of your life. But we've got, and you mentioned romance. Sometimes we say rom-com. Yeah, this movie has humor to it. This is a romance movie. Is that romance then turns all of our emotions to 11. And we have some heat. We have some serious heat in this movie. And I wanted to bring it up in this context. Lizzy, you and I 2 years ago, I think, with your husband Aaron, we covered A Walk to Remember.
Yes.
We talked about how that movie has a feeling, this almost rated R peak of feeling for the subtlest and most modest of touches. And I believe that this movie introduces intimacy and closeness and the razor's edge of what's allowed. Even just me talking about it in this way, this might serve to explain why does this movie have the staying power that it does. But I'd like to toss this to you, Rebecca. I gave you a lot of platforms you could jump from, but with your experience with this movie, or the people that you know that also like this movie, what is it? What is the thing that stands out to you about this movie?
I think it's the feel-good vibe that you get. So you get to see all the fun that she's having, that she's probably not necessarily supposed to be having. There's that, that element of, they're told not to do something, but they do still have that freedom.
And we can see it on her face as she walks at night after being sawed in half by the magician. She walks towards the staff quarters and she runs into, I'm going to say Billy, runs into that kid who had helped get the bags out of the car. He's carrying 3 watermelons. She ends up carrying 1. Leads to a funny line later. But we see that the doorway to the unknown, the doorway to getting away with it, it's just up there. Lizzy, do you feel like, this kind of walk, this kind of leading towards the forbidden is out there? I'm so close. And this kid says, oh no, it's against the rules. But, he says some words. He says, can you keep a secret? And now the audience is in on it too. Did this pull you along, Lizzy?
When I first saw this movie, I remember having absolutely no idea what they were going to do. And mind you, I haven't been to like a homecoming dance or anything yet at this point. Like I'm still too young. So I had no idea what I was about to witness and watch. So I remember being super taken aback. And now that I watch it as an adult, it's like thinking about, especially at that time in the 60s, like what she must have thought, because she was such a sheltered daddy's girl, that to watch these people in this way, because what she's used to is refinement and this kind of idea of like ultimate class. And like Lisa, for example, is like the ultimate debutante. Like that is exactly who is supposed to be like, what her parents want her to look like. And she's the ultimate girl that's coming to this camp, that's participating in all the activities that, you know, everybody seems to really enjoy. And she's really into the pearls and coral high heels of it all. But, but baby, it's like, that's all she's ever seen and all she's ever known. And then to see this other like darker underbelly, I guess, of human nature that's like, you know, they're sweaty and they're, you know, they're more or less like Aaron, when he watched it with me last time, he's like, they're basically just all dry humping. Like, and he's like, I don't even know.
They're dancing like I danced in college, which was
that's exactly what I said. That's my exact rebuttal of being like, don't look at me and act like you didn't dance like that at prom. But it definitely does for me. And I think that is absolutely something that pulls you in. The dancing, I think, is what gets you interested and intrigues you. And then everything else is really, I think, what makes it iconic.
I think too, like seeing her grow as a person and as a character and kind of come out of her shell and gain the confidence, because at first she was like, I can't do this. And then she, you know, goes on and does the dang thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's absolutely. Like, you know,
it's her confidence as a dancer, and it's also her confidence in herself. You know, in the very beginning, they want to set the tone for who she is as baby. You know, there's all this extra food at the table, and she like makes this comment, just kind of like speaks out, and everyone kind of teases her for speaking out. Like, there's all these people starving and in Asia, like we should really send them this food, and they're kind of mocking her. And then later when she goes and gets the money so that Penny can, you know, proceed with trying to, you know, she's pregnant and she doesn't want to be. And so she's trying to deal with that. And Johnny makes the comment of like, yeah, it was really brave to go to daddy. And like, you know, she's kind of mocked in the beginning for being this person that isn't afraid to speak up. And then because she's been kind of raised in this idea of like that her voice is powerful, but she's been raised with that powerful voice in a world that has a totally different structure, I think, than reality. Like I think her conversation with Robbie is a really good example of that. When she tries to see Robbie to get him to step up, and he tells her there's people that count and then there's people that don't count.
Right.
I think unfortunately in a lot of that upper crust society, that is a very common mentality of I can do whatever I want to whoever I want because of the wealth that I have. And as long as I don't get caught, none of it ever happened.
It's kind of an entitlement.
Yes. And it's an ugly thought process, but it's this idea of like, you know, not really looking at people with a sense of humanity because you just feel like you're above them. And I think Baby, being from that world, never felt like she belonged to that world. And I think being a part of the kind of more like Dirty Dancing, like the staff part of the world, she realizes that there are elements that if Max Kellerman were to see the staff dancing like this, he'd think that they were savages, right? But at the end of the day, these are people that are good people that have, you know, strong moral fiber. They love each other. They look up to each other. So Baby's really able to like use her tools to like help her grow personally as well. And like really understand that Johnny helps her to understand that like that tool of speaking out is powerful.
And that's interesting to me because I think that if somebody were to attempt to categorize this movie, they might use the term coming of age. And when it comes to a youthful naivety, to a greater maturity, the thing that I think the biggest swing is when she asks him, like, so how many girls have you been with? That's a very young thing to ask.
Yes.
And I think she's probably smart enough to know that, like, this guy has been here for a while and he's been pulling guests' tail for a very long time. And he goes so far as to explain it, right? But I would also go so far as to say that she's mentally mature and knows what she wants about like economies of third world countries, and the idea that her parents had or her dad in particular had raised her in a way that, like, all people deserve a chance and be a fair shake, that kind of thing. Is that I think she's had that mentality the whole time. And so while there is some social and some intimate learning that she has from particularly Johnny, but just from the whole experience of this small insulated world of this summer camp, which a small insulated community helps you see things better than, in a big city. But I think that she was this good natured, good person, change the world kind of gal the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really, really powerful, is that some people have, bigger swinging arcs, but hers is, I believe in you and I want the best for everybody I meet. Even with a little bit of the sneer coming from our what's our women's dance instructor's name? I just forgot it. It's Penny. Even with like the sneer coming from Penny, or from the initial like, hey, you don't belong with us kind of thing, you're upper crust, is that did not really deter her. She did not turn away from that dance party. And when the time came for Johnny to pull her onto the dance floor, she went. She did not hesitate. She did not wallflower it up. And then when the time came to ask for money, she did it and then immediately gave it. Now, we had some conflict there. It's like, we can't take that, right? But and that led to, her getting more involved with Johnny with the dance. But I think that's kind of a special thing as far as this character. I think, Rebecca, you were really taken by this kind of character, or maybe you saw something about Baby that you said was kind of similar to yourself. Is Baby one of your go-to all-time characters that you just love to see succeed?
Yeah, and I feel like she stayed true to herself the entire time without jeopardizing her or giving her moral compass like a back burner, or putting her morals on the back burner, I guess would be a better way to say it. Like, she stayed true to herself while still evolving. She
didn't let anything get in her way as far as the pursuit of what she wanted.
Right, like, she knew what she wanted and she was going to do whatever it took to get there. And I kind of feel like that's kind of how I am in a way, which could be why I feel like I identify with her a lot. And I feel like she was kind of the go-between between the two, I guess, social classes in a way. Like, yes, she came from this this family who had money, but
yeah,
then
if you can afford to go to that place, you have money.
Right. But then she also fit in as well with the summer help.
Sure. And did it seem as if she had to try to do so? It almost felt like she had this open mind or this open heart that allowed her to connect with the people that, I think it was described like, where did they learn to dance like this? Oh yeah, back in the basements of their houses in the city. Is that, with the people that have to work this camp to survive and work hard, and that means a lot of different things, is that she was able to connect with them. Lizzy, did you find on your first watches as a kid that the class issues in this movie were front and center, or was it until later watches that you were like, wow, this movie makes it very clear, especially from like the words that Johnny says, that like that this is a big class issue here. It's front and center. The movie's called Dirty Dancing. It's not called The Struggle of the Help at the at the Poconos Resort.
So the first time that I watched it, I did recognize that there was this clear kind of us versus them. They really try to make that distinction. It's undeniable that, it's almost kind of like three different classes, right? Because you could say it's the guests and then the hotel staff, but it's the guests And then the hotel staff, honestly, is also broken into its own caste system of the waiters who Max wants to take. He's like, I specifically went to Harvard and Yale to try to recruit all of you all, and I want you to take the daughters out on the terrace and whatnot. And then there's the dance staff, and that's like the low list of the low.
Yeah,
and,
entertainment staff, here they come.
Yes, yeah, the entertainment. It's like, don't touch, like leave everybody alone, like come, you dance, you do your job, and then you get out. And I definitely recognized that distinction, but I don't think that it really registered kind of the depth of that. I was a little more captivated with like just the love story of it all, and definitely Baby's courage, but I don't think I quite understood just how much, like how the kind of guts that it really took to stand up in the ways that she did. Watching it now, rewatching it as an adult, it is so, I love these kinds of stories because, again, I think it really shines this really interesting light on how, as I said before, like Max, if he were to walk into that cabin, he would think that the staff is like a bunch of savages. But at the end of the day, like, who's really a savage here? Because to me, like the ultimate savage is Robbie, like the person that is like is trying to call out that there are people that count and there are people that don't. Mm-hmm. And then Neal, the grandson
of Max.
The grandson. He's not necessarily, is calling him a savage is probably is too extreme, but he's certainly, I would say, just kind of I don't even know what you'd really call him, just kind of a prick, I guess, where he's just like, he's like
right. Yeah.
What does she have that I don't have? 2 hotels.
Right.
Like he just, he kind of is just floating off of his golden parachute and feels like he doesn't need to have a personality because his money speaks for him. So I think it really is super interesting. And Baby, being someone who I don't think has ever cared, I think it's very obvious that she's not defined by her family's money. And she wants to go to the Peace Corps, and she really cares about trying to save the world. So I think that she is a good go-between, Rebecca. That's a good point. And I think that she's able to see that there's so much more and so much more to Johnny than what I think the staff is and most of the guests are willing to see him as. And I think that's what makes him fall for her, is that he feels like he's actually like truly seen for the very first time.
She sees him. Yeah.
There's a part where he says, no one's ever been willing to do that for me before, when he got accused of stealing the wallet, and she went out on a limb, potentially getting herself in trouble, saying, hey, I was with him, he has an alibi, I was there. And then she gets in trouble, and then he still gets fired, and she's like, I did it for nothing. And he's like, no, nobody's ever done that for me.
It's such a messy, money does not buy happiness, but I think that we can all agree that it certainly makes life easier. And I think that, and you see it in Johnny of realizing, Baby at one point, she again has like this valor and this really loud voice, and she isn't afraid to use it. And she's like, why would you let him talk to you like that? And he has to basically teach her of like, I need this job. Like, I cannot get fired. And if I do anything now, then not only am I going to lose my job right now, I won't get my salary, but then I also won't get my job next summer. And kind of understanding that when you don't have that golden parachute, you have so much to lose. And that, sometimes you have to, it's like trying to find the balance, because like sometimes you do have to just kind of keep your mouth shut and keep your head down. And then other times there's a time to speak up and speak out. And kind of in a lot of ways, this movie kind of holds the balance of those two things together, of like Baby learns that the world is a little bit more complicated than saying, Dad, I need help me. But Johnny also recognizes that sometimes that there are people who are willing to help, even if it's inconvenient, and that all you have to do sometimes is just let them. And so
and she
it's
happens to be a part of that, the group that
Yes.
he would not have expected the help to come from. You know,
Yeah.
it brings to mind, we did a movie last year with Nathan, which was Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Great movie.
And there's a lyric in that where Sweeney is describing to Mrs. Lovett, there are two kinds of men and only two. There's the man staying put in his proper place and the man with his foot in the other man's face. This hotel has the Kellermans, the essentially, I'm not going to go full economics here, but we've got our bourgeoisie and we've got our proletariat. I work in hotels. I have represented the working labor for 7 years. I have been unofficially the flag bearer of the help, of the housekeepers and the maintenance men that keep things going. But I'm the guy up front that looks maitre d'. I'm wearing the nice tie. But I am representing my people that actually do the work. I'm representing, Lizzy, our first show, I'm representing the below decks of the Titanic.
Yes.
Right? So I
That's
know
right.
how the help is treated. So this movie had a particularly poignant point to me this time because this is the first time I've seen it since like college. So I see that the way that they're talking about the people that matter and the people that don't. And I thought it was an awesome additional layer for this movie. And it's something that I didn't expect coming back. I was like, oh wow, they do a good job of showing this. Is that the one person who cares actually changes someone's life. The whole thing that she's been saying she wants to do
Mhm.
is that, me and my dad have talked about this before, is that if we had to put ourselves in the categories of people that matter and people that don't, is that me and him have looked at each other and said, we probably don't matter. In the end, we can't even remember all of our presidents' names. Like, there's a lot of people that you feel like matter for a while, but do you matter for the world for the long term? A lot of us don't. Most of us don't. But I try to matter to the people in my community. I try
Yes.
to matter to the people that I meet, and I try to matter to my employees. And I think that's such a cool thing about Baby, is she really wants to matter to the people that she meets, just so wanting to help. I think that's so cool. Then it's filled with fun dancing and great music the whole time. I mean, we can't get too mired down in the economic struggles of this place. Rebecca, this soundtrack and this atmosphere, this has to contribute to the fun you're having.
Absolutely. My parents are older, so my dad was 43 and my mom was 40 when I was born. So I grew up with a lot of the old music. They were into all the oldies stations. So one of the things that I always loved was how in the intro you've got the real, like, the 60s and everything, because that's what I grew up listening to. One of the fun facts that, we'll get into later has to do with some of the soundtrack. So Patrick Swayze actually wrote and sang She's Like the Wind for the movie.
Oh, it's so great. Oh my gosh. It's
That's
so
the
great.
song playing when
Yeah.
they're leaning on his car. It's daytime.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's he say during that scene? Something like, yeah, maybe they can saw you 7 times, or
Mhm.
you
Like,
can go
"You'll never
back to
regret it."
playing. You
Yeah.
go back to playing croquet.
Oh, it's so good. I
I didn't know he wrote it.
Yeah.
didn't know. I knew he
He
sang
wrote
it,
it
but I
and
didn't know he
performed
wrote
it.
it. That's so cool.
I knew he sang it. Yeah.
There's this TikTok trend that makes me so happy right now, and I have no idea who started it, but it's where you text your significant other, like, piece by piece, the lyrics to Hungry Eyes and just see what they do. So it's like, I've been meaning to tell you, ... And they're like, yeah, I've got this feeling that won't subside. They're like, okay. I look at you and I fantasize and just like,
Oh, this is good.
posts their responses, because at first, like, sometimes some husbands are like thinking that, like, they're starting to, like, tell, like, it's almost like sexting, of being just like, get excited for when you come home, and then other people are like, what's happening, like, stop being weird. And it's so great.
So related to unrelated, and you can totally edit this out. But on Snapchat today, For some reason, I somehow ended up with a Sirius XM trial, and I've been listening to the 90s pop, and the thong song came on. so
It's a
I
great
snapped
throwback.
it, and my partner and I were like texting the lyrics back and forth on Snapchat today. So maybe,
That sounds like a track.
maybe it's a TikTok trend that we can start with, let me see that thong.
Yep.
and see
Yeah.
what happens.
That's perfect. I love it.
Cisco, one of our true national heroes.
He's in a great millennial movie that people
That's
sleep
right.
on. Get Over It. That movie is so good. People don't talk enough about that
Remember
movie.
he's in it.
The movie is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so, we have the big hits. I've had the time of my life. For me, I mentioned before that Hungry Eyes, kind of that middle choreography training scene.
Yes.
And we're also getting a change in her clothing. We're getting a change in how she acts. I really can't pass up like the opportunity. I have to talk about this, is because I could talk about the soundtrack and the 60s music and stuff like that probably until like way past our time. But we have to talk about the thing that I really want to serve up to you two, which is that we are getting romance. And we are getting, it's more than crush. We see the look in her eyes, and her mouth is just jaw dropped seeing Patrick Swayze, seeing Johnny. And then there's a different feeling when she learns they're not together, and him and Penny aren't an item.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's so quick to like offer a hand at come dance. I'm going to teach you how to dance. And he's actually a much kinder teacher in that first dance. Later on, during choreography, he's a little bit more of a jerk. But the reason we're talking about this is because it's more than crush. It's more than summer lovin'. This is kind of, it's not obsessive, but it is enthrallment. Johnny has enthralled countless women, and Baby is not immune to this. I must believe, and the reason I wanted to talk to you two, I must believe that the emotions that Baby is feeling, Penny observing the way that Baby is dealing. Penny's seen it a lot. She's seen it by now several times of what happens when another girl's fallen in love with Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it's happened before. This one ends up being different, but it might not have. The idea is we have this longing, this severe, like pierce you to the bone longing that you can see from her. And I feel like there are other movies that focus on like teenage romance. There are thousands, but this one seems to hit home. This one has the staying power. Lizzy, can you speak on this? Is that seeing this, the way that she is drawn to Johnny, this has to contribute to why this movie has all the staying power it does.
I think so. And okay, so I guess a great way to kind of tee it up is going back to the Hungry Eyes sequence where they're training, and Johnny does the lift where he lifts up her arm, and so her arm is wrapped around her neck to give viewers kind of a visual picture, and then Johnny is taking his hand and rubbing it all the way down her face, down her cheek, and he ends up caressing like the side of her breast. And in every single time she does it, she ends up laughing. And I'm pretty sure actually like it's actually Jennifer Grey laughing when she does it. And like the look on, and like Patrick Swayze's like deeply annoyed every single time.
He's actually annoyed that she's messing up the take. Oh, okay.
Yes. But anyway, those parts are so important because that very quick moment, it's like just the brush of a hand across her body, and she giggles, like she falls into herself. She's just so bashful. And that shows like who Baby is when she first meets Johnny. It's like this idea of this young girl who definitely has this puppy love crush, but can't possibly even imagine, like just taking someone touching her seriously. Then cut to, they've done the dance performance, and they've done the dance performance. Penny has been, Penny's not doing well. At this point, she's run and got her father, and her dad's taking care of everything and yelled at Johnny. And so now Penny is back, or excuse me, Baby is back at the cabin trying to talk to Johnny. And they're arguing back and forth. And that's when she delivers that iconic line of, scared on what I saw, of what I did. But most of all, I'm scared of leaving this room and never feeling for the rest of my life the way I feel when I'm with you. And she asks Johnny to dance. In that moment, she is not bashful anymore. She is like, her posture, the look on her face, the way she touches him, like she is like, honestly, like for all intents and purposes to say, like at this point, like she's stepping into her womanhood. Like she fully is like filled with desire, and she knows what she wants. And there's something about watching that transition that I think, especially for girls who are in like that coming of age time, to like see this crush turned like something so smoky and serious. I think it is like something that like every girl like just dreams of vicariously living through at that younger, like 16, 17 age.
Yeah.
And so I think it just has so much staying power, because then even when you're an adult and watching it, you can remember what that felt like when you were young.
I think it's the transition from like her innocence to like knowing what she wanted, and she's going to take it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, consequences be darned, is that at this point, there's no room for being careful. Is that this emotion will take over. You could be mature, you could be smart. But when you mention that transition, when she's really like, all right, womanhood is approaching, and it's here, and it's going to take over hardcore. And it does. And it doesn't do it in a rated R way. It does it in the, this is going to happen to you, or it happened to you already, is when you couldn't fight your basic instincts anymore. And you don't want to. And you might have tried to put up a fight, or you might not have. But in this case, there might be that little bit of, it could be the camp counselor, it could be the dance instructor, it could be somebody that you go to summer school with, it could be somebody at your Sunday school who you've known since you were little, is that this happens across generations of when you really fall, when you really are like, it's completely overtaking me.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
that's when you do make yourself vulnerable, and that's when you can get hurt. But I think that really contributes to why this movie has the staying power that it does, or why it falls into the list of favorites. And that's, but before we wrap up our central section here, Rebecca, I wanted to ask, some movies are good, some movies are great, some movies you say, I really like that movie, but then there are other movies that are considered iconic, or that's one of my favorites. This one is labeled both. Is it something about what Lizzy has just described that pushes it over? Is it the music you described that pushes it over the edge? Now that we've talked about it for an hour, what is it that pushes it over the edge that makes it your favorite, or one of your favorites?
So I was a theater kid, so I love everything from
Nice.
the cinematic of it. I love the costuming, just who they chose for the cast. I mean, there's so much to love, and there's so much on each individual level. There's, you've got the whole storyline, you've got the storylines within the storylines, you've got the classism, you've got the story between Robbie and Lisa. You've got between Robbie and Lisa how, Lisa's plan is she's gonna have her relationship with Robbie, and then Robbie ends up being a dirtbag. And then you've got, the relationship between the dad and baby. You've
His
got
dad
how
was so good.
he's got, there's the different, I guess, the different expectations that he has between Lisa and his expectations with baby.
Yes.
I feel like he's a lot more protective over baby as opposed to Lisa. But you don't see the mom playing a huge role, which I guess is probably period-esque of that time.
Somewhat normal, like really until she's like, sit down, Jake, when at the very end. But, you know, really quickly to expand on the dad, I love the dad. I love him so hard. And when you watch it when you're young, you almost want to vilify him, right? Because you're like, you know, you're keeping baby and Johnny apart. But in reality, that is a solid dad. Like he is such a good dad. He loves her so hard. And I actually love the way he treats the children differently because, you know, they say at one point, like, baby's going to save the world and Lisa's going to decorate it. And he just like fully leans in. Like Lisa is like a little debutante. And so he's like, you know, what are you going to sing tonight in the talent show or in the pageant? But with baby, like he listens to her, and I think he embraces that like baby really is a lot more spirited. And oh my goodness, the general heartbreak that he experiences with realizing that his daughter is growing up and making decisions. And mind you, at this point, like he thinks Johnny is like, you know, he thinks Johnny's the one responsible for Penny. So he has a very low opinion of Johnny, and he's just this sweet, protective dad. And it just, I love
I got to
him
jump
so
in.
much.
I also love him, and I realized that I had seen Jerry Orbach in this role before seeing him in any of these like crime shows. But I think it's really important to point out that his opinion of Johnny is based on a mistake that he had made, which was an assumption that because you're in here, that you're responsible for. They keep using the term like, "Oh, you got a girl in trouble." No, you just got a girl pregnant before you are married. For the time, right? They're using that language. But the idea is he now views him for that reason, not because he's the help, not because he's entertainment staff.
Yes, that's right.
So this lesson that baby brings up later, which is that you say that everybody should be treated the same, that everyone deserves a fair shake, but you only are talking about people like you. That might be a good emotional outburst from her. That might not exactly be true. Is that he definitely rushed to help? Obviously, you know, he had the what is it, Hippocratic oath? Like he had to go and help somebody. Yes. But it was the aftermath that he said, "Oh, not only did you make the decision where you didn't use protection, but also you led it down a dangerous path for this woman's health and future like safety." That's where his view of Johnny came from. I was so glad to have that result. We talked about it very early, Rebecca, was that like this movie does tie everything up with a bow. It ties up that Robbie says, "I'm the one that got Penny pregnant," and he takes the check away. Oh, that's satisfying. And what else do we have?
Wrong. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that contributes as well. It
does.
This movie probably could have been an artistic ending where maybe one person kind of gets away scot-free, or we see Vivian is rebuffed by Johnny, and then Vivian's on top of Robbie later, and that seems like a fun throwaway scene until she's leaving his cabin and sees that baby's with Johnny, and we see how these things kind of all resolve, and I think that contributes to how we like this. But I'm so glad that you brought up the dad thing, because that's just another layer. This is a far more robust onion than a movie about dancing.
I was going to say, the movie is definitely an onion, and the more you watch it, the more layers you peel back. And every time you watch it, there's something new that you see. Like, I honestly never realized at the end until I was watching it today that when Robbie goes, "Hey, it was me. I'm the one who got Penny pregnant," that what the dad actually took away from him was a medical school recommendation letter. And
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Oh,
so
nice.
he goes, here's the letter, whatever, enjoy medical school. And then as soon as he says that, he takes it back and rips it up. Like, I had never noticed that part until today. And then I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
Nice,
That's a
that is
big
cool.
deal.
Like, I knew he gave him something and took it away, but I never, like, realized, like, what it actually was.
Neither did I. Yeah. And there's other parts of this movie that are kind of kitschy and just kind of fun. Like you got Wayne Knight playing this kind of comedian / MC character.
Yes.
There's other things about this, like the cinematography between the scenes with like the dancing and then the scenes where it's just kind of ho hum bingo or ho hum like sitting at the beach. There's a difference between the way that the world, like the fun, nightlifey, exciting world is shot, to the all right, now it's time to do merengue class. It like they even shoot it to where it's like one is exciting and one is kind of boring. And then even Max says it at the end. He says it to his band leader, like, these kids they're not gonna want to come here anymore. I think we're approaching the end.
Yes.
And
Europe.
that's what people want. Yeah, 22 countries in 3 days. And in a way, it's part of why the movie holds up, is because we understand that this isn't kind of the thing that is so available anymore. And even doctors aren't able to afford 3-week vacations with their families anymore. You know how much that would cost to go to that place nowadays? Jeez. Like
I don't even want to know.
That part where he talks about, families aren't going to want to do this, or the kids aren't going to want to do this. That even has a, what's the word that I'm looking for? A resounding point even now with families watching it, because, now with technology and everything else, like, you can't even have a sit down family dinner at the dinner table because kids and parents are on their phones or they're on, the iPads. You can't sit there and have a conversation with somebody without them scrolling Facebook or texting someone else. And it's just not the family atmosphere anymore.
The world in general and our culture, we're becoming very disconnected to each other. So the idea of going away on a family vacation and kind of like fully unplugging, there are definitely still families out there that prioritize that kind of stuff. But as a whole, like, there is this deprioritization of quality time. And if there is quality time, it's not actual like present time, to your point. It's like time with like some kind of device in front of your face. So there is like this desensitization of really in having that like true connection with each other that's definitely going away. And I will say, like, that is like we fight that in our family too. Like, we definitely like have to fight like screen times and stuff like that. And it's a battle because the world definitely wants to tell you to like stick your face in phone. But I think in now everything's just like so expensive, and but I love it. I think a small reason why I also love this is my mom put me in cotillion classes when I was a kid. So I also like know how to do like ballroom dancing and all of that. And that also, to piggyback off of what you're saying, Rebecca, that's also kind of like a lost art. Like, people don't ballroom dance anime. Like, that's you don't see it anymore, but it's so sweet. I really do. I loved it. The jury is out as to whether or not I'm going to do that with my kids. But I do think it is really nice. Not, I wouldn't necessarily do it in the same atmosphere that I did it, but it's a nice skill to have. You know how to dance.
It also just makes the movie so much more charming. I think she says she's leaving in the rain to go have sex with Johnny. I think this is the third time. And so, where are you going in this weather? Oh, there's a charades in the east wing.
Yeah.
It's like this. Oh, look at my girl. She's such a little like trier or a joiner is what she said. And that's the whole point of these camps, is like, do the activities.
Yes.
You aren't going to sit alone on your phone. You're not going to sit alone and do a crossword. Like, you go to these places to join. That conga line thing at the beginning that Penny's running, like, you join it. She joins so many things so quickly. It really makes me, and this is a word I generally shy away from, but it really makes me nostalgic.
Yes.
You used to try stuff. the ability to put yourself out there, the ability to do something you're not used to, that like go away vacation camp is the perfect place to do it, because those are temporary times.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a pen pal and you end up writing to you later. But I love that feeling. I love that idea, is that I see thousands of people every year that come to my space and they enjoy it for a little bit, but they're all temporary.
Yeah.
And that's where, if they have a memory they can repeat, they'll come back and I'll be happy to greet them next year. One of my properties is actually a lot like this one. And I actually describe it as, that movie Dirty Dancing? Yeah, you got to come to the Heidelberg. Free plug for the Heidelberg. Okay, so from here, I really want to go into our superlatives. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's start with Rebecca, first time on the show. Who's the MVP of Dirty Dancing?
I was kind of tied. I'm going to have to say Jennifer Grey.
Yeah, and I could tell that you were still struggling, like you hadn't made the choice.
You were. Yeah.
That's okay. That's a good sign. Lizzy, who's your MVP?
I'm with Patrick Swayze. I love everything you were saying about Jennifer Grey. I think I agree. She's not oozing of sex appeal, but she is strikingly beautiful, and she also has this like very quiet shyness to her, which I think only yields itself to her beauty. And so she's very, very attractive and such a good actor. But I love Patrick Swayze. To me, his portrayal of Johnny is like, he is Dirty Dancing. Like this is like no shade to Jennifer Grey, but I feel like Baby is kind of meant in a lot of love novels. They almost make the main character like kind of somewhat monotone-ish in a way that you can almost insert yourself into that role. And I see sometimes that they do like little trickles of that with Baby, where it's like that kind of like shy girl. And so even though I think Jennifer Grey did an unbelievable job, I also think that with all due respect, I think that it's Johnny.
The sex appeal wins out, doesn't it? I mean, it's fair to say that he is introducing a generation of young women to exoticism. Exotic doesn't have to be foreign, but it does need to be new, and it does need to be a little dangerous. And I think Johnny is like the perfect example for that. But I actually mimic Rebecca here, as I chose Jennifer Grey as well. I think it's mainly due to we are following her, and the audience is willing to root for her, see all the good in her, and be ready for when she's hurt and want to comfort her when that happens. But then just to see the positive change she makes across the entire movie, that character is well written to be fun to follow.
When it comes to sex appeal, did you know that Patrick Swayze actually wore a girdle in the movie to look younger and thinner?
No shame, Swayze, man. No shame,
I actually, when it comes to like the actual like sex appeal, like I love Patrick Swayze. Like I love him, but from a sex appeal perspective, I was actually telling Aaron last night that, again, all due respect, may he rest in peace. But I looked over at Aaron and I was like, he looks like a really bad kisser, and because. I don't know. Go back and watch it. You just like the way he kisses Jennifer Grey. I'm like, maybe it's because he hated her. Like that's like a trivia of the movie, that they like really, really didn't disliked each other, and so maybe you just absolutely hated kissing her. I kept laughing over at Aaron. It's like he doesn't look like a good kisser. It's just, you're just gonna put that out there. But again, may he rest in peace. All due respect.
All due respect, dude couldn't kiss. Hey, Rebecca, who's the best supporting of this movie?
Best supporting would probably be the one who played Penny.
Cynthia Rhodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cynthia Rhodes.
Yeah, good choice. Lizzy, who's your best supporting?
I put Cynthia Rhodes as well. I think she was absolutely fantastic. You can't take your eyes off of her when she's on the screen. You just can't.
I also put Cynthia Rhodes. I think she had an emotional arc. Yes. She had the opportunity to show so many different states, panic, fear, severe internal distress. And then she has that sneer at the beginning, like, you're just one of these guests, but very quickly becomes like, I actually care about you, baby, and I like that you are in my cabin and kind of in my life. Baby, she's got the Midas touch. What things she turns like turn to gold, including that relationship. And I think Cynthia Rhodes shows that as Penny. It's not about the character writing there. It's about, wow, she really kind of inhabited that, and it was cool. I bet this is a category you'd be great at. Rebecca, what's a hidden gem about this movie?
Oh, I have so many. Do I have to just pick one?
After we go around, you get a bonus one. First time bonus, you get to do a second hidden gem.
Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey did not actually want to work together on this movie because they had a really bad experience during Red Dawn. And so they did the screen test together and did so well with it that they decided to do it. But the dance that they do when they do the love scene wasn't actually supposed to be in the movie, but that's the one that they used for the screen test, and it did so well that they decided to add that in.
Oh, nice.
That is cool.
That is really
I think
cool.
Anytime you learn about what the screen test scenes were, about like what was it that got like a character or an actor a character role, or like this was meant to set the tone, but it ended up being great. I think back to Sixth Sense is when the mom is talking to little Haley Joel Osment about telling the truth, like over cereal. Like that was the scene that ended up being like what got her the role. I love little tidbits.
I love
like
that too.
And since they would butt heads frequently, anytime they would start butting heads and start losing that chemistry, they would make them go back and watch the screen test to regain that chemistry.
That's really cool. That is really neat.
And that was just one of two hidden gems. Lizzy, give me your hidden gem.
My hidden gem is that Jerry Orbach is the candelabra from Beauty and the Beast. And that just blows my mind.
I didn't know that.
That is the most insane. Like I saw some little clip of him doing Be Our Guest, and I just I'm never the same. Completely. But then you can't unhear it. Like the way that you wouldn't call it a lisp, but the just really unique way that he talks, and the way that his kind of teeth jam together when he says an S. It's such a unique like vocal tick, and I love it. I'm obsessed with voices, and I absolutely love his, and I can never unhear it anymore. The candelabra is just fantastic.
Well, you mean Lumiere?
Yes.
For a second, I thought it must have been some side character candelabra. There's no way I don't believe you. All right, that's a good hidden gem because it's a lie. I don't believe you. And so the most hidden of gem, which is that it's a lie. Okay, so my hidden gem is that they end up making love 3 times. The first time, Penny says like, "Don't do this."
Yes.
Do not do this. And so when she goes back to him, it's kind of a daytime, and they're chatting. One of the things I love about movies with music is when it's diegetic, when the music is in the film. So you have that with the record player, or you have that with like the band playing something. And the song that is playing right after Penny had told him, like, stay away, be careful, don't do this. The song that's playing in the back is Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? And it's very much about like fleeting love. Oh, this could be harsh. Our little girl could get hurt. So I like that little hidden gem. Hit me with the second one, Rebecca.
Part of it was filmed at Camp Chimney Rock, which was the Boy Scouts camp. And that's where Jennifer, or baby, is dancing on the steps. Well, the steps are the only thing that is still left.
The bridge is gone?
Yes, I believe the bridge is gone. Hurricane Helene came through and screwed up a bunch of stuff.
Oh, that's so sad.
That we are still happy, though, that it was captured in time.
Yes.
And that this is still, like, those steps in that bridge are in our minds forever. So that's a sweet thing for us to remember. All right, now we got a tough one, Rebecca. You got to recast somebody in this movie. So one cast member, suggest a replacement. Who's it going to be?
I'm gonna switch out Jane Brucker for Idina Menzel.
Okay,
Nice.
does Jane Brucker play Lisa?
Yes.
Lisa, yeah.
Oh, but isn't her awful singing such a great breakup? Like it kind of we needed kind of a laugh out loud, and this was one
Yes.
of those cringy like, oh my god, and it keeps going, and it just keeps
Yeah.
going.
But
I
I feel
love it.
like okay, so have you seen Rent?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, the whole cow over the moon scene
Yes.
for Rent. Well, okay, so you do know that that's Idina Menzel, right?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, okay, so I just feel like Idina could do it so much better and be
yeah,
so much more outrageous with it.
yeah.
Probably could. I think my dad actually was the one that pointed this out to me. And it's a concept that has stayed with me, that in order to sing really, really horribly, like, and in acting that way, that most likely she actually has a very pleasant voice.
Yeah.
So it was same to be Indina, like she can be very campy and obnoxious, but then of course she can really turn it on when she wants to. That's a good one.
Yeah, you have to understand like your pitch in order to get it wrong. And that is something that Minnie Driver is actually a really good singer, but she plays a gangster's wife in GoldenEye 007, James Bond GoldenEye, and she's having to do karaoke and be really bad at it, which is a fun thing to do.
Perhaps the only exception is Cameron Diaz, because she actually has a terrible voice.
No, but everybody loves her.
Everybody loves her. Yeah,
that's a
you
great
still
scene.
love it, but that's really her version of trying. And
Backfires. Yeah. Who's your recast, Lizzy?
I did Jane Brucker as well. You and I are step for step. I replaced it. So I like the terrible singing and all of that. I think that's funny. I just think that she could have used like a little bit more of that kind of girly girl energy. And so I went with Christina Applegate. I feel like at that particular time, she was a huge it girl. And I think she could have really leaned into the kind of like posh, waspy energy and just kind of done such a good job of being like the antithesis of Baby.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess we were right around that Married with Children time frame. Maybe, I mean, it's so close, but yeah, and I think she evokes a reaction out of audiences for sure.
Yes, she does.
I don't have as fun of an answer. Mine is I liked Wayne Knight. A lot of people know him as Newman, as our Stan character, the guy who's kind of the MC. He's fun. He's funny. He doesn't really factor into the plot at all. He just kind of exists. And so for a guy that just kind of exists who is funny, I went with Bronson Pinchot. A lot of people will know him from the Beverly Hills Cop. He's the guy that runs the art studio, got the funny voice. Just in 1987 would have made a lot of sense for him. Let's go to some cinematic options. Rebecca, what's the best shot of this movie?
I'm going to say when they are or in the lake practicing the lift. I don't know. There's just something so pretty about it.
It's very pretty.
It is very pretty. Lizzy, what's your best shot?
Mine is when they're practicing. I don't know if Hungry Eyes is actually playing at this point or not, but it's Penny and Baby, and they're dancing, and they're kind of doing this like cha-cha move, but it's just of their feet at first, and then it pans up to their legs, and then kind of like reveals who's who.
Yeah, they're like mirroring each other. Yeah.
Yes, and like the whole background is white. And so all you really see is Johnny sitting there kind of observing them. And then they're wearing both like black stockings with these metallic gold heels. And it's just the colors are so vibrant and 80s style. And it's also just like such a fun montage throughout the movie. But that particular shot I always thought was really striking.
Well, and that shot starts with him in the background and kind of zooms backwards to where you can see those metallic shoes and then the stockings going up. Yes, that's a good shot. For me, I mean, it's very hard to say that it's not the lift at the end, right? When it comes to iconic shots, it's a big one, and everyone cheers. It's great. I really, really like, though, I mentioned it earlier, is when she's in like the back of house with all the staff, and you do the walkthrough where they're all dancing and grinding, and she's generally like awestruck, like jaw dropped, and then she sees Johnny for the second time and learns that he's not in a relationship with Penny, and there's this flash in her eyes where you have to understand, like, in her mind, like going like 100 miles a minute of just like all the possibilities. Is I think that's another thing about this movie, is like the thrill of possibility with what this could be. It all happens in a moment, and she is such an every girl that it's enviable to be like in her shoes. Oh my gosh, can't believe it. So like that was a fun shot for me. Now let's do an entire scene. Rebecca, what's your best scene?
Mine has to be the lift. Like the entire, like probably like the last 5 minutes of the movie, where he walks in, he walks on stage, gives his little speech about, hey, I'm always the one who does the last. And then she has the confidence to do the lift and runs and jumps off stage. Like that whole piece is just like my favorite.
It's a good one. It's a big one. A lot of lead up, and what a payoff. Lizzy, what's your best scene?
It's mine too. I love it so much. I love how when she's doing like the dance gig at the hotel, how she's so nervous, and you can see it in her eyes. Like she's like just wants to get it over with. And yet at this performance, at the end of the movie, she's a totally different person. Like she's confident. Yes. She's excited. She's passionate. Like her heart's really in it. She's not focusing on the steps, but yet she's flawless. And and everything about it, like all the resolution, it's such a happy scene. It's everyone lives happily ever after.
At the Shellbrook Hotel, or wherever that other performance was, she's in her head. And in that last performance, it's just so natural. And you know that she's already, as an actress, she knows what to do. So to be able to play a young girl who's in her head and making mistakes, that's as difficult as singing off key. So that's well done there. My best scene is in Johnny's cabin, when she says all the things she's afraid of. And he is just astounded that you cared. No one's ever done this stuff for me. You want to change the world. Like all of that. This is like the streets talking back. Thank you. You don't understand what this means. And my quote will kind of get back to this too. It's like, people don't treat us like this. And the emotional scale, like swang, had a big swing there. And I really liked that. A couple left here. Rebecca, what's your best wardrobe or your best makeup moment?
I just really love Baby and Johnny's outfits there at the end.
Yeah. Okay. So our final outfits.
I would love to see it with a little bit more glitter on her dress, but I love her dress.
Yeah. Lizzy, what's yours?
Literally anything Penny is wearing. I'm really into Penny's entire wardrobe. She wears a lot of red, but not just red. It's like fire engine red. And it's like her whole wardrobe is so electric. Like that first dress to even like the like cute little top that she wears when she's dancing at the very end, everything in between. There's always, I have to imagine that putting red in her wardrobe was intentional, perhaps like based on like what she was going through, and which kind of see, there's maybe some kind of like scarlet letter aspect of it potentially, but I loved Penny's character. I loved her arc, and I absolutely loved her wardrobe.
Yeah, I think hey, she was a Rockette. She has some red shorts earlier as well, when they first meet the woman who drops the purse full of wallets, and then that white top she's wearing has red embroidery on it. So that's a good catch. For me, it's Baby's pink crop tank top and jean shorts that she wears going down the stairs and across that bridge when she's kind of trying to learn how to dance this way. And what is being played for us is Wipeout, which is just that drum beat. And you can see all the way she's trying to do it. This is not immodest. This is not sultry, but it is a change from what we have seen her wear for the entire first 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the movie, which was some of those little chunkier stuff that went down past the knees, right? This was a representation of step one towards the change, or step one towards the maturation. It is not meant to be like revealing sexy in that way, not so sultry, not seductive. It's just representing the change. Smart move. And that change sticks throughout the rest of the movie. So good choice there. Okay. This one, you said you had an answer for this earlier. Rebecca, change one thing about Dirty Dancing.
We would never have to hear Lisa sing.
God, did we hear it for so long?
Yeah.
It's rough.
We would never have to hear her sing.
Uh-huh. Oh, and on top of that, that song is written to be difficult to hit all the notes. So she's choosing, like, the Lisa character is choosing a song that would show her vocal range. This is a Mariah Carey warm-up song.
Yes.
And it's so rough to listen to. Like, your hair stands on end. Like, ugh. Lizzy, what's your change one thing?
So bad. I think Baby just should have been honest with her dad from the jump. I think this is like one of those situations where all of the conflict in the movie could have been solved incredibly quickly. I know if that's the case, we wouldn't really have much of a movie. But when she initially asks her father for the $250 and he's like, you know, why? And she's like, I can't tell you. I do appreciate that she's trying to keep the confidence. But I think also there was this like trust and rapport with her dad. And I think being honest with him in that way, being honest with Lisa about Robbie, because like she's still kind of watching her sister like fool around with this guy, knowing full well like what he's capable of, and I just and not hiding her relationship with Johnny from her dad, and kind of allowing her dad to have like these false pretenses about him. I think I think ultimately like everything could have been solved if she was just like totally upfront. But then again, we wouldn't have a movie if that happened.
But I think it also does a good job of like every teenager is still going to be dishonest about something. She's not a perfect little angel.
100%. Yeah. I mean, when you watch it at that age, I mean, when I think about when I was 17, you still live in this fear of getting in trouble. You know, you have this like moral right and wrong, but you are also very controlled by the fear of punishment. And so I think that sometimes that fear of punishment can cloud your ability to have, like, it can overpower that moral fiber there. So I think, you know, she's definitely awarded some grace, but
you are, God. So you've got kids. I'm the only childless host of the show, but I do have employees, and they are so afraid of, quote unquote, getting in trouble. It lasts longer now. Our kids at 18 aren't the same that we were at 18. And just still the idea of, well, I froze because I didn't want to get in trouble. I totally feel you. And I hope I didn't sound like I was saying your change one thing was wrong. Of course not.
No. But I mean, it's just, you're right. It's just life, you know, when you're young.
The only thing you did was lie about Jerry Orbach being Lumiere. Of course, that's not true. So my change one thing is it might actually hurt us as an audience. I think I need Johnny to attempt to distance himself from Penny a little bit more. I think he needs to try to take his own advice. I think he probably needs to be harsh. I bet he has ways to turn off his charm, or to be rough around the edges, or to be dismissive. And I think we could benefit from seeing Baby be hurt by Johnny, and then potentially have Penny come in to try to help save it, because Penny had such a change of heart, right? That would be cute, but we don't want to see Baby hurt more. But it really would ramp the emotion up even further. I would feel that in general, the stakes of this movie are not very high. One guy losing a job, and then we do have, the botched abortion was high stakes. But the final part of this is, well, I'm going to lose my job and not have enough money. there are far greater stakes in other movies, but the emotion helps push that along. And so I think seeing her hurt a little bit might have changed things, might have improved things a little bit in terms of wanting to save her as an audience of our connection with baby.
I like that, like an internal conflict.
Yeah, and because he wouldn't want to do it, he's being advised to do it. It's his own advice, even. Yeah, it would make sense. Let's finish up with our best quote here, Rebecca.
So I have two. When I think it's Johnny looks at her and is like, "What are you doing here?" or whatever, or "Why are you here?" And she goes, "I carried a watermelon." And she's like, "Carried a watermelon?"
I carried a watermelon.
That is so me, because when I am so awkward, and when I don't know what to say or don't have like a prepared statement, the stupidest crap comes out of my mouth. And then I'm like, what did I just say? So I feel like that one is me. Just I embody that. And then my second one is when she's going on and she's like, I told you I was telling the truth. I'm sorry I lied to you, but you lied too. That whole scene. The part in that just really resonates is where she says, "But if you love me, you have to love all the things about me."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good. Really, really strong and so powerfully delivered too. Lizzy, what's your best quote?
I went with just the iconic, "Nobody puts baby in a corner." It's just too good. I know it's basic, but it's just too darn good. And I wasn't planning on having that be my superlative until I watched it last night, because it's not even just about the line. It's about the fact that, like, he had no idea the baby was sitting in a corner. Like, that was just like an on the fly thing. You kind of watch it thinking almost like he was going to have this like prepared statement that he was going to give to his dad or to give to baby. He just walked right in on the fly, saw the baby was sitting in a corner, and then just kind of had this like, I don't care whether or not you like me, but this woman here is just way too special to be put in a corner and not to be seen. So we're going to grab her, we're going to take her, and everybody's going to see what she's capable of. Nobody puts baby in a corner. And I love it.
That's a really good argument, because I did think to myself, like, should I pick that one as well? It is like the quote. I chose something that really had to do with our class discussion earlier. And it's something that Johnny brings up, and he says it so easily, and she refutes it, but he says it. And it's something that I think a huge portion of our workers today must feel in their jobs, even if in their careers, if like the going is tough, is he's describing his own life, and he goes, "The reason people treat me like nothing is because I'm nothing." Even Johnny feels this way about himself. And that a bunch of those other people, where their only outlet is this dancing, is this fun that they can have, that they bring with them from their basements in the city, that they must feel that way too. And then the idea that, once again, I'm very prone to go into socioeconomic discussions in a relatively fun movie, so I'm not gonna. But that quote resonates with me, because you could tell his character really feels that way about himself. Somebody like him having low self-respect or self-esteem, very real in today's world, and very real in the 60s. Okay, we have reached the part of the show, come full circle here. Rebecca, it's time for you to rate this movie out of 5 stars, 0.5 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. You can give half stars. How do you rate Dirty Dancing?
I'm going to say 4.5.
4.5. Pretty high mark. Lizzy, what's your rating?
I give it 5 stars. I think it's pretty perfect. And on top of being just a fantastic movie and it's culturally iconic, I also think that it's a comfort movie. Like, I could watch it, rewatch it. I could listen to it. I mean, to me, there's no such thing as too much. And so it's just perfect. I love it.
I think the rewatchability helps me out here. I give it a 4 star. I think on this most recent watch, there were some things that stood out to me that I thought they didn't go hard enough. They didn't go strong enough. I didn't have a fuller story. I could have done this is crazy for me to say, an hour 40 minutes. I could have maybe gone with an hour 50 if I had some more expansion on some of this. I never want to go longer, but I could have with this time. Patrick Swayze's New York accent. There were certain things where I go, oh no, I'm hearing the accent, I'm not hearing the words, and I'd have to rewind and then listen to the emotion. The stakes weren't high for me, but I do always favor movies about romance as opposed to the rom-com. I like the feeling, Lizzy, we've done a lot of these movies together. I like tugging at the heartstrings hard, and I feel like this could have done more for me. But 4 stars is still a high rating, and it's the rewatchability. I've seen this a bunch. I would watch it anytime. Like this is a good movie. So, it's a pleasure to watch as well. Lizzy, I need help choosing a movie for next time. Can you help me?
Okay, yes. So, a Retro Movie Roundtable, big fan. We are huge fans here of Michael Caine. We love him as a mature actor, but we're going to do a deep dive into his younger body of work. So we've got option number 1, Billion Dollar Brain from 1967. British spy turned detective Harry Palmer stumbles upon oil tycoon's plot to overthrow communism using a supercomputer. Option number 2, The Italian Job from 1969. A comic caper movie about a plan to steal a gold shipment from the streets of Turin by creating a traffic jam. Option number 3, Funeral in Berlin from 1966. Sent to East Berlin to retrieve a communist defector, British spy Harry Palmer suspects the situation is not what his superiors believe it to be.
I saw The Italian Job in high school, the remake, and my dad introduced me to the 1969 version. And so I will be very happy to revisit this for the show. Option 2, The Italian Job.
Yay. Michael Caine's the best. We love him here.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for the choices. Yeah. And thank you, Rebecca, for joining us.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a pleasure to be on.
Yay.
Wonderful.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thank you, all the lords, ladies, and knights of the Retro Movie Roundtable. We invite you to reach out to us. We want to hear from you. Subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a like on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at movie_retro. Email us at retromovieroundtable@yahoo.com. Hey, producing and providing this podcast is fun, but not free. We invite you to support our show at our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/retromovieroundtable. Any contribution is much appreciated and will go towards making the show better for you, the listeners. As always, thank you for listening. Be good to each other and watch more movies. Lizzy?
Molly, you in danger, girl.